Why you do this? Understand yourself. It's over. The conversation ended hours ago, but your brain did not. You replay the tone, the pause, the sentence you should not have said. You zoom in on one facial expression like it holds the answer to everything. And suddenly, it feels bigger than it actually was. Your chest tightens as if something is still happening. You ask yourself, why did I say that? Why did I do that? What did I do wrong? And no matter how many times you replay it, you do not feel relief. The worst part is that nothing dramatic even happened. No explosion, no clear rejection, just a subtle shift, a small change in energy. And that is enough, because your mind does not replay moments for entertainment. It replays them for protection. It's doing this because your system is exceptionally tuned to connection. You notice nuances other people miss. It believes there is something to fix, something to correct, something to prevent next time. So it keeps the footage running. Not because the moment still matters, but because your nervous system thinks your safety depends on decoding it. And if you stay until the end, you'll learn a simple way to interrupt this loop, and how to turn this overthinking curse into proof of how deeply your mind is built for awareness. You tell yourself to let it go. You say, it's not a big deal. But your body does not listen. The memory comes back when you try to sleep. It shows up in the shower. It interrupts your focus, and every replay feels urgent. Like if you just think about it one more time, you will finally find the mistake. You imagine what they might be thinking right now. You imagine how you looked, how you sounded. You edit yourself in hindsight. You create better responses too late. And every alternative version makes the original feel worse. It becomes less about what happened, and more about what it says about you. That is when overthinking stops being reflection and starts becoming self-attack. Overthinking is not random, it is a survival reflex. Your brain is wired to scan for social mistakes because historically, social rejection meant danger. Belonging meant safety, disconnection meant risk, so your system learned to monitor your behavior carefully, extremely carefully. When something feels even slightly off, your brain flags it. Not to punish you, but to prevent future pain. It replays the moment to extract data. What went wrong? What can we adjust? How do we avoid that feeling again? The problem is that your system cannot always tell the difference between mild discomfort and real threat. So it reacts as if the stakes are higher than they are. The trigger is rarely the mistake itself. It is the feeling underneath it, the possibility that you were misunderstood, the fear that you were too much, the fear that you were not enough, the fear that someone's perception of you shifted. That is what keeps the loop alive. Your brain is not chasing the sentence you said. It is chasing certainty. It wants reassurance that connection is still intact. But because you cannot access someone else's internal world, your mind keeps searching. It predicts outcomes. It imagines worst-case scenarios. And uncertainty becomes fuel for repetition. When you sense potential social error, your nervous system activates. Your heart rate changes. Your stomach tightens. Your thoughts speed up. It feels urgent because your body treats social disconnection as a real threat, even if logically you know it is minor. That physical activation makes the memory feel important. Intense equals significant in your brain's language, so the stronger the sensation, the more your mind believes it must keep analyzing. And the more you analyze, the more activated you feel. It becomes a loop. Thought fuels sensation. Sensation fuels thought. You try to solve it with logic. Everyone makes mistakes. They probably didn't notice, but reassurance fades quickly. Because the loop is not driven by logic, it is driven by fear of repetition. Your system is asking, how do we make sure this never happens again? So you dissect tone, timing, body language. You attempt to control future outcomes by perfecting the past. But perfection is impossible, and your brain knows that. Which is why it keeps searching. Not because the moment still matters, but because your survival system does not tolerate uncertainty easily. If you grew up in an environment where small mistakes had big consequences, your brain learned to be vigilant. If love felt conditional, you learned to monitor yourself. If approval was inconsistent, you learned to anticipate shifts. Overthinking became preparation. Preparation became identity. As a child, analyzing your behavior may have helped you stay connected. It may have reduced conflict. It may have prevented emotional withdrawal. That didn't make you weak, it made you highly observant. The same pattern that drains you now once meant you were smart enough to read the room before anyone else. That strategy worked then, so your nervous system kept it. The problem is that what protected you before, now exhausts you. Over time, you may have started calling yourself an overthinker. as if it is a personality trait. A thief is who you are, but it is often who you had to become. Hyper-awareness feels like responsibility. Constant self-evaluation feels like maturity. Letting go of that vigilance can feel dangerous. Because if you stop monitoring yourself, what if you actually do something wrong? What if you miss a signal? What if someone leaves? So your mind convinces you that constant review equals control, even when it actually equals anxiety. Breaking the loop does not start with forcing your thoughts to stop. It starts with recognizing what the loop is trying to do. It is trying to protect you from future pain. When you see that clearly, self-judgment softens. Instead of asking, "Why am I like this?" you can ask, "What is my system afraid of right now?" That question shifts the focus from the event to the fear. And fear can be soothed. A replay cannot. What if the problem is not that you care too much, but that your system equates imperfection with loss? What if your brain is scanning for danger in moments that are simply human? That reframe changes the tone internally. You are not obsessive because the moment is catastrophic. You are vigilant because connection matters to you. That is not weakness. That is wiring shaped by experience. And wiring can update when safety becomes consistent. Transformation happens when you interrupt the meaning, not the thought. The thought may still appear. What did I do wrong? But instead of diving in, you notice the fear underneath it. You feel the sensation in your body without adding new stories. You remind your system that discomfort does not equal disaster. That uncertainty does not equal abandonment. Each time you do that, the intensity decreases, slightly. Not instantly, but gradually, and gradual rewiring is still rewiring. Relief begins when you stop trying to achieve perfect social performance. You accept that awkwardness is part of being human. That miscommunication happens. That you cannot control how everyone perceives you. When your system learns that minor mistakes do not equal loss, the urgency fades. The replay shortens. The loop weakens, not because you stopped caring, but because you stopped equating imperfection with danger. Integration means you understand your overthinking as protection, not pathology. You see the intelligence in it. You see where it came from. And that understanding creates space. You are allowed to care deeply about connection without dissecting every interaction. You are allowed to be imperfect without punishing yourself mentally for hours. That balance is not indifference. It is emotional maturity. Real empowerment is tolerating uncertainty. It is allowing a conversation to exist without reanalyzing every detail. It is resisting the urge to mentally rewrite yourself. You may never eliminate the reflex completely, but you can reduce its authority. You can feel the urge to replay without obeying it, and that shift alone changes how much power the past moment has over your present state. You are not weak for caring what others think. You are human. You are not broken for replaying mistakes. You are conditioned to prevent loss. And conditioning can soften. The shift begins when you stop attacking the replay and start decoding it. When the loop starts, don't scream at yourself to stop thinking. Don't rewrite the conversation for the 50th time. Ask instead, what is my system afraid will happen if I don't fix this? Name the fear out loud. I'm scared they'll think I'm stupid. I'm scared they'll leave. I'm scared I ruined everything. Then tell your body one grounded truth. I might feel embarrassed, but I am still safe right now. When the fear is named and your safety is named, your nervous system doesn't have to work as hard. The intensity drops, the urgency fades, and you begin to trust that one imperfect moment does not define your worth. Your mind replays mistakes because it believes safety depends on correction. It believes connection depends on precision. But most human bonds are not that fragile. They do not shatter over one sentence. You cannot think your way into total certainty. But you can teach your nervous system that small social discomfort is survivable. And the fact that you stayed all the way here already proves something important about you. You're not just an overthinker. You're someone brave enough to look at the pattern instead of hiding from it. Next time the replay starts, try this sequence. Notice the loop right pointing arrow named the fear right pointing arrow. Remind your body you're safe right now. It won't erase the reflex in one day, but every time you do it, you're rewiring how your system handles shame and uncertainty. Does this explain something about you? When your next replay hits, what fear will you name, and what kinder meaning will you choose instead? Your answer might be exactly what someone else needs to read.